Absolutely. Absolutely. Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. This is a Painful Excellence podcast. I need to discuss this because I haven't done it yet. And this is a very important topic. Very important. Let me see something. Just checking my volume. And it can be stressful to men and satisfying to some women. But in order, in order to understand how we got here, you have to understand where we came from. So I pulled up some quick articles. I'm gonna read from them. But this is because as I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking of some guys that I know personally that went through hell, literally walked through hell. Now, what I can say is the fellas that I know that got children now, their kids are all grown. But I remember when their babies were like this brother holding the child, and there's a reason why I picked this picture. Their children were that age. I remember when they brought them home. And man, all I'm gonna say is they picked wrong. They picked wrong. Because, I know a couple of brothers that, they laid and played, but then when the baby was about to be born, it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna be there. And they were literally trying to be there. And, between the woman being immature and the mother not liking him and her friends, there was nothing he could do that was right. But give me the money, though. Give me the money. Give me the money. I'll let you see the baby if you feel like it. But give me the money, though. But I'll let you see the baby if I feel like it. And if you come in here on some mess, if you don't abide by my rules, when you get here, the police will be here. If your support payment is due on the 30th of the month, and I don't get it till the 31st, I'm gonna see to it that you go to jail. Shit like that. So this is a very important topic right here. So I'm gonna do my best to talk about things that I've seen. Thank God I haven't gone through anything like this. Basically, we're gonna talk about black men in the child support system, and I want to know what y'all think. Salute, love is the word. LDVC or nothing. Daniel Mitchell, Josh, Jared, what up? 88 Sports Talk, Cop Killer, Mark Wonderlit, Andrew 100, the lyrical specimen. That's what's up. The Village Brother, Rod Neal, Johnny Q, Mike the Reaper, John Pound, Spurgood Marshall, salute. Yeah, it's a hustle. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. But I picked this picture for a reason because, black men, we've gotten a bad rap over the years. We're not involved. We ain't ish. All of this stuff that they fed into society about us, and it's just not true. We're the most involved fathers. Black men are the most involved fathers in children's lives. So I'm gonna go through some stats, but in order to go through the stats, we got to give a little history lesson. So let's move this picture. The first thing I'm gonna do, I did a show, and you heard me say it several times: marry before you carry. And the reason why is because it's all related. This child support system, you got to understand where we came from. Where we came from and what happened. Okay? Can y'all see this here? I'm going to read from this. All right, I'm going to read from this. An analysis of out of wedlock births in the United States. Now, I want you to pay attention. All right. Since 1970, out of wedlock birth rates have soared. In 1965, 24% of black infants and 3.1% of white infants were born to single mothers. Wait a minute. What did I just say? What? First sentence, second sentence of this article. What year do you see right there? What year do you see? Let me highlight that. What year do you see? Y'all see that? You see that? See? Facts, data, statistics. What year, when I talk about the decline of the black family, what year did I say it happened? I say it happened in the 60s. To be more clear, 1965. You see that? Use the internet for what it's for. All right. Now look, this is an analysis of out of wedlock births in the United States. I'm not even being specific about black people right now, but you look at the year, y'all. Look. I ain't got to make it up. Look, it's right there. See? So let's read. I mean, I was ready. We could close the show right now. Look at that. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's see that. Let's do it. All right. By 1990, the rates had risen to 64% for black infants and 18% for whites. Oh my God. Okay. And this by 1990. 64% black infants, 18% for whites. It was 24 in 1965, 24% of black infants and 3.1% of infant whites were born to single mothers. So we still led the league in babies out of wedlock. Why is that? You see, right off the bat, I just started the article, y'all. Right off the bat, you see? But I know I hate black women and all this other stuff, man. Okay. AKA you don't want to take accountability for any of your shit. Okay, anyway. Every year, about 1 million more children are born into fatherless families. If we have learned any policy lesson well over the past 25 years, it is that children living in single-parent homes, the odds of living in poverty are great. The policy implications of the increase in out-of-wedlock births are staggering. Night Train, salute. I didn't write this. Johnny Q, salute. I didn't write this. Okay? I didn't write this, y'all. You know, when I talk to people my parents' age and I ask, how did we get here? When did all of this begin? You know what they say? Man, around the 60s, something happened. Everything that we fought for started to take a turn. You know what the black men do? This is what they do. They look around and say, yo, listen, man, 1965, I was about maybe 20 years old. Yo, Gertrude, all I know is that she told me I had to get out. And I'm like, well, what about the baby? Nah, just get out. I'm gonna go to school. How you going to school? The government done gave me a block of cheese, a block of butter. They said they put beans in my cabinet, and I'm gonna be able to go to school, and then I'm gonna get an education. I'm gonna get a good job. Shamar, what up? Exactly. Let me put that up there. Night Train, my brother. So let me get this straight. You're kicking me out the house. So you can go to school. Now that sounds, what I just said, that sounds like, oh, what are you against a woman going to school for? Y'all want me to digress on that for 1 second? Let me move this so y'all can see my face. Let me be very clear. Let me be very clear. Because I've said this a million times. Today, how many of these dating shows that y'all have seen? I know Ryan Wright, salute. Picasso, salute. Where I don't care if it's Kendra G, and I'm not talking bad about anybody. I like looking at those shows because it proves our point, does it not? When you need a point of reference, when you say, yo, these people out here are out of their mind, you can point to those shows. You could point to Kendra G. You could point to Kevin Samuels' old shows. Because the only women that hated him are the women that he's talking about. Now watch this. These women will get on those shows and they'll say, hey, you know, I make 6 figures, so I need a man that makes more than me. And Kevin will say, okay. How much of the financial load do you want to carry? First, the woman will say, I don't mind working, but that wasn't the question he asked. He asked, how much of the financial burden do you want to bear? Then when they understand, when it sinks in after he says it twice, they say, oh, well, none. Great. Now you got a man that's making 6 figures. And now you procreated with that man, and now you don't have to work. Right? What city you live in, whatever, New York, Detroit, Chicago, LA, Miami. He runs the numbers down. Let's say you make $101,000 a year. Your husband makes $120,000 a year. Kids are expensive, and he now not only has to support himself, but he has to support you and the child. Guess what? That $120,000 a year is not going to be enough. But you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Did y'all miss something? Let me bring you up to speed. Normally, those women that are talking, they got some big old big head degree that they never use. I have a degree in sociology. I got a degree in trigonometry, bumpology. That's great. Philip D, salute. That's great. But what was the point in you? Because mind you, all of those women are in college debt. Black women go to school a lot and they accumulate the most college debt. So they're not rich. You're paying back this student loan. So he has to pay for your student loan. He has to feed you. He has to feed the kid and clothe you because you're not working. So now watch this. What was the mother effing point in you getting all of these degrees if A, you're not using them, and B, if you want to get married to a man, then you want him to pay all the bills any goddamn way?
What?
Right over your head. Right over your head. And that's what he was saying. Some, not all. Some of these women were living in a goddamn fantasy world. It's fantasy. Really think about what see, sometimes you have to ask, you have to speak it out loud. These women are walking around, hey, men are going to be here. I start college at 18. I'll finish when I finish. So you finish when you're 25. Now you got a big head degree that you're not using. But you're supposed to get a man that's making 6 figures. And then you don't want to work. He's supposed to take care of you and take care of a baby and take care of himself. And when I say take care of you, that means, Juice, what up, brother? Condo, my brother, salute. That means he has to pay your student loan. You've become a bill. Make sense? That's why we were saying going to school, depending on what you want, because some of these chicks want it all. I want the degrees, and I want the 6-figure job, and I want the man to make all the money and take care of me, but my money's my money. That's not reality. But you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Gotcha, bitch. And when you point that out, you see the woman thinking, oh man, that is true. Yeah, it is true. Do you want to be independent? Fine. Kane, what up? Fine. Then finish your education. But don't stop what you're doing because you found the six-figure man and you expect him to take care of everything, including your goddamn student loan. That's why he said, you know, school was always crazy for these women. It contradicted what they wanted. That's what he was saying. But you have to speak it and break it down in those lamest terms for them to fit the register. He didn't say school was bad. Because you know why? And let me see if I can share this. Well, I'm gonna read this first, and I'm gonna share. Remind me to share this thing that I found on the gram. Well, you know, I'm just gonna tell you what I found. There was a bunch of white women at their college graduations. Melvin, what up? Showing their engagement rings. Like that. Like that. Like that. Shahrazad Ali said white women go to college to look for husbands. Black women go to college to prove that they don't need them. That going to school and getting an education to prove that you don't need no man, that was what the brother said. It was a setup. It was a setup. And the community fell for it. You know what else happened around the 60s and 70s, which is talked about in this article? Well, they're trying to bridge a gap in this article, but I already bridged it for them. Remember, I told y'all about I shared the article from former Cosmo writer, the sexual liberation movement. Cosmo, it was all a lie because she's writing all of that shit. Meanwhile, she was married with a child. Remember that? Remember I did the show on that? She was lying. She was enabling this thought process. And they talk about it in this article, but they don't bridge the gap to what these women were also reading. Yes, salute. So let's get back to it. Searching for an explanation. So they're going to try and explain what this is. Efforts by social scientists to explain the rise in out-of-wedlock births have so far been unconceiving. Those several theories. Now, these are theories that they had. Now, mind you, we don't figure this out, but these are several theories have a wide popular following. One argument that appeals to conservatives is that of Charles Murray. I haven't Googled these names, who attributes the increase of overly generous federal welfare benefits. So he's saying that the more the welfare benefits increased, the more women felt safe to spit babies out. Welcome down Ram in the building. You heard what this guy just said? The increase of benefits basically made these women feel safe to have babies out of wedlock because Uncle Sam was their new daddy. True or not? You turn around and you see the Republicans talking about, man, we need to do away from with welfare. I was just watching, I forgot this brother's podcast, but in certain states, they're snatching the welfare away from these women. And the only women that I saw complaining about it were the black women. How am I going to pay my bills? It's called get a job. Welfare is not forever. It's supposed to be temporary. Mansa Musa, my brother. It's supposed to be temporary, right? These ladies got too comfortable. All right, let's get back to it. But as David Elwood and Lawrence Summers have shown, welfare benefits could not have played a major role in the rise of out-of-wedlock births because benefits rose sharply in the 1960s, then fell in the 70s and the 80s when out-of-wedlock births rose most. A study by Robert Moffat, I haven't Googled any of these guys, in 1992 also found that welfare benefits can account for only a small fraction of the rise of out of wedlock birth ratio. So what could it be, y'all? What could it be? Liberals, our favorite buddies, the liberals who, want to put your sons in dresses and tell them that it's okay to, watch their parents having sex. Liberals who want a transformer to come do story time in the state of Houston to your 10-year-old boy. Liberals have tended to favor the explanation offered by William Julius Wilson. In a 1987 study, Wilson attributed the increase of out of wedlock births to a decline in the marriageability of Black men due to a shortage of jobs for less education of men. Stop right there. You read that again, y'all. Wilson attributed the increase of out of wedlock births to a decline in the marriageability of Black men due to the shortage of jobs for less educated men. Translation: these men weren't worth it, but they were still getting all the tail.
What?
Anthony Bolton, salute. You heard what I said. These men weren't worth it, but they were still getting laid. What's a woman gonna tell you? I have needs. Listen, you rolling the dice when you laying down with a dirt bag. I can have a sister come in here right now and say, I'm not saying there's a sister in here saying that, but I can have a sister come in here and say, well, I have needs. And you're not in a relationship, but you have needs. You got to get that nut off. Okay, teach, what up? Queen, salute. And the person they choose to lay up with will be the worst qualified person in the world. Nigga has no job. And he gets the tail. Because you know why? No matter how down and out a chick will think, no matter how dry a spell she has, she's still gonna sleep with someone that is she's totally attracted to him. Well, I'm only gonna do this a couple of times. And she'll let the dude with no job run up in her. So what they're saying is there was procreation, but there was no marriage. You just read it. It's crazy, man. Let's get back to it. But Robert D. Mayer and Christopher Winship have estimated that most 20% of the decline in marriage rates of Blacks between 1960, there's that year again, and 1980 can be explained by decreasing employment. Uh-oh. Robert G. Wood has estimated that only 3 to 4% of the decline in Black marriage rates can be explained by the shrinking of the pool of eligible Black men. So here you go. We have less opportunity as Black men, but you know who had opportunity? Our women did. They sent them to school. They got all the SNAP programs. They got on welfare. When they had babies, what'd they do? Mr. Black, salute. Do Black men, do we get catered to the same way Black women get catered to when, I don't know, we ain't got no job? Can we get on welfare like that? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a little more difficult because the rules ain't the same for us. Joel, salute. Oh, man, salute to you, Joel. My brother Theo sent you here, man. Salute to you, brother. Salute, good brother. Let me tighten you up real quick. There you go. There you go. Salute to Theo. Exactly, Night Train. No program for us. No, Queen. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I'm not saying it's not impossible. I'm just saying the rules are different. The rules are different. And the only reason why the dude I knew, he got on welfare because he wasn't working a steady job and he had custody of his child because his mother was a drug addict and he proved it. So the system worked for him. And eventually he got hired by the city. And thank God he's been working for sanitation for 21 years now. What he did was he took whatever he had, he raised his child. He was living with his mama in the basement apartment. He was taking civil service exams. Sanitation called him. He's been working there 21 years. He's a supervisor now, making a strong 6 figures. And his daughter's in college. And he moved out his mom's crib and he bought a house about 3 exits up from me. Yeah, no doubt, Joel. No doubt. You know, I mean, look. You see, you got professionals in the 90s trying to figure things out. Now here we are in 2023, and we know exactly what it is. It's like I can get into a time machine and answer these dudes' questions. Oh, wow. Queen said, my male cousin just tried to sell his food stamps to my mom. Wow, he does not have custody of his kids and he doesn't work. Like I said, it's not impossible, but the rules are different. You can get it, but the rules are different. For a black man, it's different. It's very, very different. They made it so hard. Let me get back to this article because I'm making a point. But it's not impossible, Queen. I understand it's not impossible. The rules are different. Yet another popular explanation is that single parenthood has increased since the late 1960s because of the change in attitudes towards sexual behavior.
That's kind of pretty before it gets started, ain't it? Oh, frog money courting, he did ride Crambo.
What?
You heard that. Let's get back to it. I read it again. Another popular explanation is that single parenthood has increased since the late 1960s because of the change in attitudes towards sexual behavior. But so far, social scientists have been unable to provide a convincing explanation of exactly how that change came about, or to estimate in any convincing way its quantitative impact. I can't read this evening. It's late. I've been up all day. In recent work, we have been able to provide both. Now, let me stop right there for a second. This is an old article, but remember the article I did about Cosmo. Okay? Remember the article I did? That woman lied on the sexual revolution. Liberate me. Liberate me is a fancy term for saying I want to be a smut. And there was all this, they called them free spirits. You heard that term before? And these women were running around getting their backs ripped out, smoking weed and la 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 with daisies in their hair and sleeping around and smutting out. And this woman got on Cosmo and said it was okay. But you know what? She admitted years later it was a lie. It was a lie. Because she's enabling women to do all of that crap. Meanwhile, she was married with a freaking child. And what do we have today? We have women talking about all my single ladies. The woman who wrote that and performed that is married. Cardi B told me I don't cook, I don't clean, married. Meg Thee Stallion running around talking about all this. I'm nigga free. And she's hanging around a midget dude that blew her goddamn pinky toe off on some Harlem Night stuff. This is where we at. This is where we at. I told y'all, this didn't just come about. This was a plan. This was a year plan. You know, like how China had a 100-year plan, how to F off the United States, and they've implemented it. Y'all don't even know. TikTok is not owned by Americans. It's owned by China. The same crap, LeRon was good. The same crap that we view on TikTok, the foolishness over here, you know it's not aired over there because it's poisonous to their community. They don't want their kids, they don't want any of their people seeing that crap. We see all the crap they've gotten in here. Now they got balloons flying over here. That's right, Queen. I don't have a TikTok account. And there's money in that too, from what I understand. I'm good. I'm gonna get back on Facebook. But that'll be for this Painful Excellence podcast. I'm not doing nothing else on Facebook. I'm not even talking boxing over there. Uck that. Uck out of here. I'm watching my F-bombs. I'm saying uck. I'm being responsible, y'all. The answer, no more shotgun marriages. Now, y'all know what a shotgun marriage is? I'm not going to go through all of this. A shotgun marriage is if you knock her up, you marry her. That was just it. You sleep with a chick, you knock her up, you marry her. That's all that was. That was a big Southern thing. I got relatives that were together because they got in the barn one day and his pullout game was horrible. And Luther, I missed my period. And that's my aunt. There was no love involved. They were goofing around in a barn, literally. And this is a true story. Goofing around in a barn, and my Uncle Luther ain't make it out. Well, Luther, you know you got married that girl now. She pregnant with your girl, with your kid. You know you got married that girl now. There it was. That's a shotgun wedding, y'all. That's a shotgun wedding. That's right. That's right. If you ain't married that day, there was no ABs down there. There was no deletions. There was no deletions. If you said it's not mine, there wasn't going through that. Her father, because she had a father in her life, and he understand how things are. You know, okay, you know, you're a little crazy or whatever, but you know what? No doubt, LeRon, man, much love, bro. No doubt. We're going to cook. You know? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Did the right thing, made her an honest woman and not embarrass the family. Perfect. Perfect. That's why Kevin Samuels used to say things like, you know, marriage really was never about love. It was about this man courts this girl, and the dude has to meet the father, and the father has to give his daughter away. Yeah, man, I know she like you and all, but who's your family? Who's your family, boy? Y'all on the ranch, 20 miles up? What's your stock? What do you do? You have to come from good stock. Because if you're not, daddy be like, I don't care what you say. You ain't getting with that, boy. Nope. Matter of fact, he come over here again and blow his brains out. My musket. Yep. Yep. The father needed to know that if anything, if that father meets his demise, whether he goes off to war, whether he has a heart attack, a stroke, or whatever, that's right, Philip D. It's about duty. He needs to know that his baby girl gonna be taken care of. He needs to know that. He needs to know that. Because back then the name meant something. Your family name meant something. He could have a bunch of sons and the daughters or whatever. He has to know. I'm giving my daughter away now. I need to know she's gonna be taken care of because she's gonna take care of you. While you're out there, you know, planting stuff and picking the corn or whatever it is you're doing over there, when you come in, your food's gonna be cooked because we done raised her right. The food's gonna be cooked, the baby's gonna be raised, the house gonna be clean, and she's gonna refuel you so you can get out and do it again. You're taking care of her, and she's gonna take care of you. It's about duty. That's why the father gave away the daughter. Once you start throwing that Disney World stuff in it, oh, it's about love and I love you. Listen, you can love him later. Love him later. You know what I mean? Sisters walking around, oh man, I can't find love. And you 50. Stop. And people don't want to hear that. Terrence Bailey, salute. Oh my God. We're going to get to it. Terrence. Anthony, what up? It's about duty. So that's a shotgun wedding. Now, they have this timetable here. Okay, from 1965 to 69. All right, births in the thousands. Okay, let's go all the way down here. So 1965 all the way up to 1984. All right. Birth rates per 1,000 married women age 15 to 44. It was a different time. You know, women was getting married at 15. You know, it was a different time, y'all. Just ignore the ages for a second. White, 119. Black, 129. Okay. By the time we got to 84, 94, 90%. All right. Birth rates per 1,000 unmarried woman, same age. Okay. Look at this. Unmarried woman, 12.7. Black, 91.0. Move up to 20 years, 18.9. Look at black, 81.7. What are we doing, y'all? Woman married, same age. White, 67.8. Black, 55.9. 20 years later, 58.8. It's went down a little. Look at black, 39.9. Out of wedlock births. White, 144. Black, 189. 2 decades later, 355. Black, 337. Now look at this, y'all. Women age 16 with sexual experience, 13.8%. Black, 35.0%. Now, 20 years later, 32%. Black, 49.9%. Seeing this? Are you seeing this? First birth shotgun marriage rate, 59% for whites, 24% for black. 20 years later, 42% for whites, 11% for blacks. Are y'all seeing what I'm saying? Reset common sense, salute. Black vision, salute. Y'all see this? Look at what Welcome Down Ram said. Arranged marriages, man, that's the best way to go. Because they don't see what the F you see. You know how I know? How many single black women we got right now talking about, yo, they got knocked up by a fuckboy? And it's like, yo, all this Big Cup of Joe, salute, all this beefing y'all doing, all this songwriting y'all doing, but y'all picking these dudes. Y'all picking these dudes. Y'all are doing this. Why I gotta hear it? Listen to this. The disappearance of the shotgun marriages has contributed heavily to the rise in the out-of-wedlock birth rate for both white and black women. In fact, about 75% of the increase of the white out-of-wedlock birth rate and about 60% of the black increase between 1965 and 1990 is directly attributable to the decline of the shotgun marriages. If the shotgun marriage had remained steady from 1965 to 1990, white out-of-wedlock births would have risen only 25% as much as they have. Black out-of-wedlock births would have increased by 40%. What links liberalized contraception and abortion with the declining shotgun marriage rate. Before 1970, the stigma of unwed motherhood was so great for few women. It was so great that few women were willing to bear children outside of marriage. The only circumstance that would cause women to engage in sexual activity was the promise of marriage in the event of pregnancy. Y'all hear this? Men were willing to make and keep that promise, for they knew that in leaving one woman, they would be unlikely to find another one who would not make the same demand. Even women who were willing to bear children out of wedlock would demand a promise of marriage in the event of pregnancy. Does that sound anything like the women today? It doesn't. Look, man. Now look at this. I'm going to read this. The increased availability of contraception and abortion made shotgun weddings a thing of the past. Women who were willing to get an abortion or reliably use contraception were no longer found. They no longer found it necessary to condition sexual relations on a promise of marriage in the event of pregnancy. So this was just them banging. So men weren't the only quote unquote sexual deviants on the prowl. Now it was women. Referred to the Cosmo magazine writer who said the feminist movement was a farce, and she did it to sell magazines. This is all around the same time, y'all. But women who wanted children, who did not want an abortion for moral or religious reasons, or who were unreliable in their use of contraception, found themselves pressured to participate in premarital sexual relations without being able to exact a promise of marriage in case of pregnancy. These women feared correctly that if they refused sexual relations, they would risk losing their partners. Sexual activity without commitment was increasingly expected in premarital relationships. Are you reading this? Are you hearing this? Okay. Listen, I'll put this link in the chat. Y'all can read this on your own. But I brought this up for a reason. Oh, word, Big Cup of Joe? I guess I'm famous. Tell your co-worker I said salute, and I appreciate their I appreciate them knowing me. I'm just a guy from the Bronx. No doubt. So we're going to do this step by step. We're going to do this step by step. Now let me take it to this other article. Here we go. Children in single parent families by race and ethnicity in the United States. Race, American Indian. Look, the third one down. Black African American. Data type, number and percent. This is children in single parent families by race and ethnicity in the United States. 2011, we got 67%. All right. Asian Pacific Islander was 17. American Indian was 53. So they right on our tail. By 2021, they've gone down to 49%. We've gone down to 64%. And yes, we lead the charge. Now, how the hell do we lead the charge? And there's only 13% of us that makes up the United States, whether you believe it or not. I mean, if you can find a different number, let me know. But we're only 13%. But this is us, 64%. Single parent families. Okay? Let me read you something else, because now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this. Okay. Fuck out of here. What demographic has out of wedlock births? In the United States, for example, significant differences in out of wedlock births exist among major social groups. While the national average for the United States in 2014 is 40%, the proportions of birth out of wedlock for whites are 29%, for Hispanics is 53%, and blacks 71%. Draw, what up? 71%, y'all. This is the number I got. If you can find a different number, hit me up. What race has fatherless homes? White children, 20.7%. Hispanic children, 31.2%. Black children, 57.6%. Unmarried mothers have automatic rights. When the children are born to unmarried parents, the mother automatically has sole physical and legal custody of her child. Until paternity is legally established, the father has zero rights and responsibilities towards the child, even if biologically the child is his. You hearing this? So now let's do it. So all of these, listen, this is our community, y'all. You can kill the messenger, but this is where I'm going with this. Learning from the United States painful history of child support. This Father's Day, federal and state government must consider the history of child support and how it can better serve poor Black families. I'm going to assume that these are all Black fathers. You know, the guys that you say aren't around. Now, here's the thing. I just saw over the summer a TikTok video of these sisters that went on some trip, this girls' trip. And they were celebrating that they got pregnant on their girls' trips. I think it was like 4 of them, 3 or 4 of them. Did y'all see that? Family, we've lost. And you know what I'm about to say, right? Because I say this almost every show. I just read you the numbers. And the facts, the data, and the statistics also show that 16% of these dudes, they ain't shit, but they're responsible for 90% of the births out of wedlock. These women are choosing to carry these pregnancies. This is before Roe vs. Wade. They've chosen to carry these pregnancies to full term. I just told you about a video that I saw. These sisters that went down to these islands and they got pregnant out there and they keeping the babies to term. They don't know who those fathers are. They plan on raising those babies by themselves. And they're setting those kids up for failure, whether they're male or female. So you know what I'm going to say, right? You want the passport bros to come back to deal with their ass?
What?
That's what they're supposed to stop traveling the world to see different countries, see palm trees and blue water, and experience women that are actually nice to them. They're supposed to stop what they're doing and come back because they're just Black sisters. I just read you the fucking numbers. So when I get sisters saying, yo, look, man, just come back and talk. Listen, what year did I put the year in the chat that I said all this stuff started? Put the year in the chat. Go ahead. Let me see who's paying attention. I told y'all there'd be a test later. Funny as hell. There you go, Night Train. 1965. Let me pull up this other video. Did y'all see that article? Well, I mean that little that not little that old video um where they said that they don't need no man. They'd rather not have a man in the house. Um, they could be single mothers, and these were young black women, childless. Fatherless children they had. I can't find it. I should have pulled it up earlier. But this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing here, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. But you know, you make the bed, you lay in it. See something. Where's my screenshots? Screen recordings. Ain't that something? Let me play this for you. Let me show you what we're up. Let me play for you what we're up against. Let me play for you what we're up against.
The reason I support aborting a black child when it comes to it being male is because when I look at the black community and the problems in it, it's associated with males and male pathology. When you talk about violence, it's associated with the males. When you talk about the women being forced upon, it's the males. When you talk about drugs, it's the males. When you talk about the fatherless children, it's the males. Every single problem that is happening in the black community, you point to the males and then you have the culprit. So for me, I think that not selectively breeding is very irresponsible when you are the only one who has control over who gets to earth. Your womb, it carries the person to earth. So if you're the only one with that power, regardless of whatever he wants, if I feel like if black men want black women to give birth to their children, then they need to act like it. They need to go out, they need to clean the community up, they need to stick around, raise their children, stop being violent, stop forcing themselves upon women, stop toe tagging us every 5.5 hours, and then we won't have a problem with having your children. If they were being responsible, this conversation wouldn't be happening right now.
Cynthia G was on that post. She said selective abortions is not genocide. Now you see, again, reverse the roles and what you got. Reverse the roles and tell me what you got. Whoever airs that will be canceled to be damned. So this is what we're dealing with here, family. And again, these dumb hoes out here are not taking responsibility for their own actions. They chose to be single parents with the wrong man. They did. And they don't like the dude. After he nuts, they don't like him for whatever reason. I can't say. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to send you a link, Terrence. But nothing is ever their fault, y'all. Nothing. Jesus Christ. Why can't I not find the damn email? My bad. What's your email, Terrence? I'm sorry. Rachel Nonito, what up, man? Exactly. And this is what we're dealing with in my community. That woman just said, did you peep what she said at the end? Quit toe tagging us. You know what that means? When they leave and going out and they're turning up all around town, something that women are not supposed to be doing when they're married or in committed relationships. Why are you out 3 a.m. with your girls? And dude picks up the phone and says, Playboy Plays, what up? And he says, yo, where you at? Why are you always looking for me? Why the hell are you out at an ungodly hour in the morning like you ain't got somebody at home looking for you? And most of those bitches got fucking they got goddamn families at home. Once you have a family, you waive your right to do a lot of shit, man. You really do. I sent it. Something else I want to play for you. But as you can see, yeah, toe tagging is killing, but that's not what she meant. And the community is messed up because of black men. No, she probably lives in a shitty neighborhood that she chose to live in because she's still on welfare. Where the 16% of the dudes out there, the dudes that she only dated, they all know each other and they all live in a 2-mile radius. They haven't been outside their block and only know what they see on BET. That's not even owned by black people anymore. And guess what? The high level of women that are spitting out these babies. I just read you the stats. For a lot of men that ain't shit, these women are still spitting out these babies. And don't tell me that they're Jeff Sparks salute. They're not being bamboozled. These women don't know how to pick, which is why if you're a man and you have a daughter, your daughter knows to bring that man home to meet you. So you can pretty much give her away like we used to do in the old school ways. I need to know that if I'm gone for any reason, you can take care of my daughter like how I take care of her or better. If you don't know how to stop a jab, you ain't dating my daughter. I already told him when she started dating, no. If he can't throw hands, nope. Don't bring him here. If he can't do 20 push-ups in one sitting, don't bring him home. If you've seen him cry and he didn't lose a limb and you seen him cry anyway, don't bring him to me. Fuck out of here. Need you to listen to this.
Take a man
Send
and
him to
put his
jail.
name on a birth certificate in order to get benefits for it, and he's responsible for that child, even if the federal government know that it's not his kid. It's men going to jail today for child support for kids that's not even theirs.
Not even there.
That's crazy. And y'all want to sit here and have conversations with us about responsibility? First, you're going to have to come to the table in honesty and in truth and being real about the situation that y'all putting these guys in and y'all putting yourselves in. Y'all can't even come and be honest with who y'all are, and y'all want us to be able to support y'all and protect y'all and hold y'all down and marry y'all. And then y'all wondering why black men is divesting themselves against these women. What makes you think that they want to be with y'all and y'all are not even honest with yourselves and coming to the table honestly? We don't even ask nothing from y'all. We don't ask y'all to do nothing for us. We don't ask y'all to bring money to the table. We don't ask y'all to support us. We don't ask shit from y'all. All we are is behind the 8 ball because we continue to subject ourselves to the very person that we lay next to is really our enemy because they won't even be honest with what it is that they bring into the table. You bring in lies, deceits, irresponsibility, and you're looking to get saved and you're looking to retire. All they do is use us. They don't actually add value. You want to know what's really wrong with the black community? Is that the woman is out of her purpose and she's not a helpmeet no more. Yep. She's the enemy. She's more of an enemy than the white man ever has. She's more of an enemy than anybody in history has ever been to the black community because she's the very person that comes in with deceit and looks to use you and then disperse of you when she's done with you. And then she'll move on when it's all said and done and then say, well, what about the kids? Fuck them kids and fuck that woman too. Throw that hoe out with the bathwater. Throw the baby out with the bathwater. Start the fuck over. Get a whole new group of women, and then fix the community that way. Because we tired of these hoes.
I can't relate. I don't know if this is.
No.
Shout out to Anton Daniels over there at the P.E.P network. That was him. And
take that.
Yeah. He's not lying. And you got to be black. See, when a white person or an Asian person or a Latino says that, and they know the numbers, don't call them racist. That was a black man that said that. Listen, I'm married. I got lucky, man. I look at a lot of people around me. I'm like, damn, not so much. When he made the reference to women being the enemy, y'all want to hear a fact? You're not going to like this. Now, I knew about this. I heard about it, and then I've read about it later on, and I said, oh, man, I didn't know that. You ready for this? Did you know 64% of the slave owners in South Carolina were black women?
Whoa! It's kind of pretty before it gets started.
What? You heard me. Did y'all know that? Now, I ain't want to say nothing. But the cat's out the bag. And you know why that cat came out the bag? You see, that's embarrassing. And we didn't want to talk about that shit as black men. We didn't want to talk about that at all. But you know what happened? Y'all hoes, and I'm talking to the, if it don't apply, let it fly. Y'all hoes started digging on these passport bros. And y'all see Rachel in the chat, right? Y'all done got her started. Y'all done got a whole bunch of Filipino women started. Y'all got Latina started. Y'all got the Brazilian sisters started. Y'all got the African sisters started. All of the women that y'all said couldn't read, couldn't write. All these sisters in other countries, they speak multiple languages, whatever their native tongue is, and English. And some of them speak 3. And they started doing the digging, and they said, and they brought up South Carolina. I saw it somewhere. I said, oh my God, Detroit, BC, salute. I said, oh my God, cat's out the bag now. That's why I told brothers, stay out of that shit, but protect yourself, because no longer can they say that we ain't shit, because the numbers prove these pookies have multiple baby moms. You understand? And this is why this leads up to the child support system. The black women have gotten everything. Black women in this country are more free than anywhere in this world. Don't get it fucked up. And all Uncle Sam did was befriend the black woman and turn them into the enemy. And from 1965 till right now, this is what we have. We have a mess. So when I said, what can we do to fix it? And salute to Black Vision. I was on her show, and I was talking to a sister named K2 Cray, and salute to her. But I disagree. My thing is, but when you see people fighting, I need to know how it started. When kids are fighting in school and you're the adult, you separate the kids and you try and figure out what happened. Because one person started it. In this instance, these black women started this shit. They fired the first missile. Oh, the passport bros, y'all are all pedophiles, and y'all hate your mother, and you hate your black skin, and you're probably gay, and all this other shit. Like, hold on, we didn't call y'all all that when y'all been going down to Jamaica since the 80s and 70s, getting your backs blown out by these fucking young men. That's been going on for decades. We never said anything because that was just y'all thing. And y'all been doing it long before the internet. Trust me. The first time I heard about hedonism was in the 90s from a group of black women that I worked with, and all of them are married.
Hey, but Drew, I wouldn't say they started it though. I would say they piggybacked.
They piggybacked off the white women that have been doing it for years. The white women go to Africa and get those young African boys.
Yeah, well, the women found out.
The women found out that
they piggybacked off. Everything they piggybacked off of.
The women found out that they can go to Jamaica on a discount rate. How many times you walked in the airport during whatever vacation you're about to go on, and you look over at motherfucking Spirit Airlines flying to Jamaica in that lime green jet, the purple jet looking like Soul Plane, and you see a bunch of sisters with them battered wigs on their goddamn head, like overweight with the flip-flops on, and it's like 10 of them, and you know they're going out in Jamaica to get into a motel, one room. It's 10 of them in one motel room with 2 fucking beds. And what do you think they're going down there for? We've seen the videos. But before the videos, what I'm saying is I've heard the stories. I just never said anything. It was none of my business. Why? Because what would I look like talking to these women like, hey, man, y'all think that's cool going down there and fucking those strangers down there? Oh, you just jealous because the term hater wasn't around in the 90s. I'm showing my age.
Eddie Murphy was talking about it in the 80s.
He was talking about it since the 80s. And it's not a joke. It's been happening. It's been happening. So to bring the conversation full circle, these are choices that they've made. And what happens is, and this is what Antoine was talking about. We've seen Maury. Some of these women don't even know who the father of the damn kid. Yo, shout out to the brothers that are just finding out that their son is not biologically theirs, and their son is like fucking 24 years old. I've seen that. You understand? You've seen Maury. You've seen, I remember I was watching, what was that lady's name?
Sarah Jeffrey, Ricky Lake?
Not Ricky Lake. It was Judge Hatchett. Judge Hatchett?
Yo, well, I was going back further. That Sarah Jesse Raphael, Ricky Lake.
Sarah Jesse Raphael, we seen it there, but the illest one I saw was on Judge Hatchett. This black chick got on there, and she made her husband look like a dog. He was a military dude and handsome, stocky brother, and he was like, yeah, you know, she called me, and one of the ladies, one of the MPs that I work with was a woman or something he said, and she answered the phone, and then she started accusing me of all this stuff. He said, listen, I'm a handsome dude, but I'm not down there doing whatever. And plus, when I came back home, she wouldn't sleep with me. And it was, oh, maybe because you was cheating. He said, well, you can't prove it, and I wasn't. Right? And come to find out, they had 2 kids. And he said, you know, you choosing me and everything, but you know what? Let's test my son. The son came back, it wasn't his. So Judge Hatchett said, you know, just so for rule of thumb, son was son was like 6 or 7 years old. Said, oh, for rule of thumb, we're going to check the 3-year-old, the daughter. Neither one of the kids was his. He was in active duty, ducking, and served in combat twice. Okay? Ducking bullets and missiles. And then none of those kids was his. And when they put the camera on her, you know what her face was?
Stoic.
This was her face.
Like,
oh well. And he was back there talking with tears in his eyes, like, yo, they're not mine. What do I do?
You're preaching to the choir, brother.
Bro, go ahead and tell your story, brother.
Hey, you talk about shotgun weddings. My first marriage was a shotgun wedding. You know what I'm saying? She got pregnant with my daughter, and we felt obligated to get married. You know what I'm saying? I had my first marriage. I hadn't too long got home from the service, and that marriage, I went back to the military and deployed, and she took off while I was in combat. She took off, took my daughters, went away to Florida. Now, while I was in that marriage, I had a son before her, and I was paying child support for him. Right now, when his mother, she was from the Ninth Ward in Louisiana. When she found out that that I had a baby coming with my soon-to-be wife, which is ex-wife now, she, no questions asked, went and took me for child support, right? And made plans to move to Atlanta, leave Maryland and go to Atlanta. I knew nothing about it, right? I got summoned down to the state's attorney's office. Now, before I got there, right, I had already been paying daycare, buying Pampers and everything else, whatever. I picked him up from daycare. I go to work. I pick him up from daycare. I had him every other weekend, and I had him more than he did more than she did, right? But when I got to the state's attorney's office, I told him, I said, well, the boy is at my house more than he's at her house, and I pay daycare. They said, well, we're not here to discuss what you did do. We're here to discuss what you are going to do from here forward. I said, well, what business is that of yours? I said, I take care of my child. I said, I pay daycare, whatever. They said, well, we're not here to talk about that. We want to know how much you get paid, where do you work, and when's your payday.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I don't feel like I should tell you that. They said, well, it's not a choice. You need to tell us here, or you can go in front of the judge. If you go in front of the judge, it's like a strong likelihood that you can get locked up. So how much you get paid, where do you work, and when's your payday? I said, well, I can supply receipts. He's like, Mr. Bailey, we don't care about your receipts. We're here to discuss what you're going to do from this day forward. I said, again, I don't feel like that's none of your business. All right. So I ended up paying child support, right? Now, I remember one day I was in there to see my child support agent. And the state's attorney's office lawyers came in there from after coming out of court, came in there high-fiving each other, right? All excited. You know what they was excited about, Drew? This dude was behind in child support. I forgot about how much, but he had a house that was paid off, that it was paid for. They took this man's house for back child support. They took this man's house and was going to auction it off for back child support. They just took generational wealth from this child and was going to sell the house and give the cash to the mother. You get what I'm saying? A house that this kid would probably no doubt inherit later and put a roof over this child's head. And the house would no doubt be worth more money later. And they took this house from this man, and they were going to and they're going to auction it off and give the money to this woman. Okay, fast forward. I ended up getting custody of my son. I have visitation every summer. I got him Terrence Jr. for the summer. I had to drive from Maryland to Atlanta to get him and bring him back to Maryland. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to help. She didn't have to meet me halfway. She had to bring him to me. They made it all just real easy on her, right? She didn't have to do a damn thing. I had to buy a car. I basically bought a car every other year. So to keep up with that and teach parent teacher conferences, the whole 9 yards, right? And eventually I ended up getting I was out to lunch with my ex-wife. I was out to lunch one day and I got a phone call from my first sergeant. He was like, "Hey Bailey, you sitting down?" I said, "Yeah, Top. I'm eating lunch." He said, "Well, we got a duty to warn about your son." I said, "What's up?" He said, "See, it appears that your ex has been beating your son with an extension cord."
Oh, fuck.
So he said, "I need you to stop what you're doing right now. Go get your uniform on, shave, do what you gotta do, and report up to the Armory in Baltimore." So I give the Armory in Baltimore. They found me another soldier for a driver, put me in a GSA. I had to go back to the county where I lived in, get a ex parte from a judge, and then they gave me a government vehicle, and we drove all the way to Atlanta, and served the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department down there. And went into the school, snatched him out of the school, and drove way back up here. And I had custody of him ever since. And then I took her off of child support, and she had to pay $800 a month. Right now, here's the thing: when she paid child support, now my son and I had the same name. I never saw one check because since we got the same name, he can cash the check. That was his allowance. The child support check was his allowance. I never saw physically seen a check. And at the same time that he was receiving the checks was at the same time I got deployed to Afghanistan, which worked out perfect. You know what I'm saying? The one thing that brothers need to know and need to understand is that when the states open up for when the state legislatures open up for like lobbyists and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, where you know you can go in there and plead your case for whatever law or whatever you want. Those women, those the lobbyists for the women who run in there flooding, they flood in there, and you know what? There's never nobody for the men to ever go in there. The men are never in there, but the women, the Karens, are always up in there, looking for something more. Gimme, 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 gimme. There's nobody in there trying to get a father's rights law or a men's rights law. It's like there should be brothers in there trying to get a men's right law, especially when it comes to, since they overturned the abortion thing. You know what I'm saying? There should be a men's rights law. Okay, like Dave Chappelle brought that up. Dave Chappelle, when he said, "If you can abort this motherfucker, I should at least be able to abandon him." Where's the man's right? If a woman can go and get an abortion, then how does she have the power over a man's life if she decides she's gonna keep the child and you bound to it? You know what I'm saying? And if she says my right, my body, why doesn't the child have a right to its own body?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, well, we got to go by when the heartbeat. No. Mm-mm. The egg is a living thing, and the sperm cell is a living thing. When they unite with one thing, they are one living thing. I want to hear that heartbeat. You talk about semantics. Nobody want to hear that crap. You know that's some Democrat man. That's some political party BS. Nobody want to hear that.
They out of here. This next run it, man. They out of here. I'm telling you,
man. Hey, look, and here's the thing. Black women have gotten bamboozled by that woman who was with the CIA, who started that whole feminist movement or whatnot, and a lot of the white women outside of lesbians or the LGBT or whatever have abandoned it. Black women have not gotten the doggone memo yet, and they popping this message. We don't need a man. We don't need. Oh well, look how that's going for you. Look how that's going for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You run up as soon as you get yourself in a bind, you run to the white man, and your house is in shambles. You can't keep your kids out of jail, except for those few kids that are born that are not in the majority. Those few young men and women who are not in the majority, who are young brothers and sisters who are born, who have the wherewithal to look at a situation and say, "This ain't for me."
Mm-hmm.
And they're not in the majority. That's the problem. They're not in the majority. But in a two-parent household, those numbers are much greater when there's a two-parent household. But in a single-parent household, those you have them, but they're in a extreme minority. Those ones that say, "Wait a minute, there's got to be something better." But I can guarantee you, in the same case, those are the same ones that have a mentor on the side. Think about it.
Let me ask you a question. In your opinion, how does the child support system, how does it treat black men different from white men?
My personal opinion, they're going to lock up a brother faster than they're going to lock up a white man any given time, because the slave rule still applies.
Mm-hmm.
The slave rules still apply, and there are a lot of women who are on child support that are out here, and they do not, and they owe just as much as men, and they don't get locked up. I've seen women walk in there and owe $30,000-$40,000 in child support and walk right back out, and a dude go in there and owe less and come out, you know what I'm saying, doing the shuffle.
Let me read this. The child support program started off as a federal-state partnership with a goal of reducing expenditures of the aid to families with dependent children, AFDC program. From 1935 to 1996, the AFDC was a primary vehicle for economic support to the families with children. The support program collected money from non-custodial parents, most of whom are fathers whose children relied on AFDC benefits, but the support did not go to the children. Instead, it was used to reimburse the government for the AFDC benefits. For example, if a court ordered a parent to pay $100 every month for child support to the household that received $100 in AFDC money, the state kept that in its entirety, the $100 child support payment, and shared it with the federal government. This welfare cost recovery effort remained in effect today, though many states do not allow. The many states do now pass through the portion of these payments to custodial parents and children. In 2021, the government kept an estimated 1.38 billion in child support. Let me stop right there.
And what it's not saying is that in some states, the child support goes to the retirement fund of judges.
Yep. So it's in the system's best interest to clean you out because it's in their best financial interest, and they know that. Although black men, we make more money than black women. Statistically, we do.
Because we work more hours. That's it.
We work more hours.
It's not on an education basis. It's because we work longer hours.
We work longer hours, and these women are just not taking the same jobs that we do. If it's ditch digging, that's hard labor, and women just don't. I'm sure ditch diggers exist, female ones exist, but that's not in abundance like that. So that's why. But my point is, we're behind the 8 ball because the system has failed. And this is why you can't get ahead. You was going to say something, brother?
This goes back to what J. Edgar Hoover said. When he said, what is the biggest danger to United States? I think that's what he said.
The Black Messiah.
I think also he said was black unity.
Yeah.
Now, how do you stop black unity? You bust up the home.
That's right, and that's what they did since 1965.
You cause a strife between the black man and the black woman. Now, if you have a black man and a black woman, and they have a child together, and what's the quickest way to make sure that you keep them apart? Money.
Mm-hmm.
Money, and put her in a situation where if she does this to him, and it causes him to be stricken. Like if he can't afford to pay this, then they take his driver's license, and
work.
And then he can't work, but they still want this money from him. And he looks at her and he's like, "Well, why are you doing this to me?" And she goes, "Well, I need the food stamps." And
watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna read this. It's very important. Now watch this. When you're late on support, you basically go to jail. And these are private jails. And who has money invested in those jails? That same guy that's about to send you to jail, that judge.
Mm.
And his nephew was one of the attorneys. And the other brother that wasn't smart enough to go through law school, he's the goddamn court officer or the corrections officer or the cop. Right? Now peep this, y'all.
The judge gets a kickback.
The judge gets a kickback on all of it. This is all privatization. That's why these motherfuckers be they invest in these private prisons. Now watch this. Nearly all who are in arrears over child support have very low incomes. In one study in California, 80% of those arrears had annual incomes below $20,000, and 60% had annual incomes below $10,000. As debt grows and enforcement measures are used, employment, housing, and familial bonds are all put at risk, ruining the credit scores and suspending the licenses of low-income non-custodial parents can make it harder for them to achieve the financial stability they need to provide for their children, while incarceration makes it possible. I just said that. You understand? So this is a real thing, y'all. You're behind the 8 ball. How do you get ahead when they take your life? Let's say you drive a truck. Let's say you drive a bus and you're behind 2 months on child support, and they say, you know what? We're going to suspend your license. You can't work without no goddamn driver's license. So how are you going to get the money to catch up? You're like, no, let me keep my license so I can work OT. If I work OT for the next 3 months, I could break even with this. They take your license. You can't work. You can't make the payments. Guess what? They come knock on your door to take you to jail. You lose your job. It's over.
I was an over road truck driver. You know what I'm saying? Luckily for me, I had a caseworker who, you know what I'm saying, who looked out for me. She would call me and say, hey, can you bring me $100? Because if not, they're gonna suspend your license. You know what I'm saying? And I would take out a cash. I would take out an advance on my paycheck and bring $100 because I would lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And that was, and then, oh, check this out. My son's mother. There was already the original case was in Maryland. She took out another case in Georgia, thinking she would get more money, but the case in Maryland superseded the case in Georgia. But Georgia still took out a case there. Now the guidelines in Georgia, was higher than what they was in Maryland, right? So so every year, around tax time, they would say that I owed money to the state of Georgia, right? Mm-hmm. When in all actuality I didn't. So they would take my taxes, right? So then I had to fight with Georgia to get my money back, right? And then Maryland had to get involved and say you need to release his taxes because he doesn't, if he doesn't owe us anything, he doesn't owe you anything. Maryland has jurisdiction, and Georgia will be holding my taxes. So then we get to the point where I will have to call Lawrenceville, Georgia, Department of Support, and be like, if you be like straight up, either you release my shit within the next 48 hours, or I will be filing suit against you with my lawyer. My lawyer will be calling you. You receive by fax a paperwork notice of lawsuit, and and they will release it. Every year it was the same damn thing, and then even after my son was like over 18, and I had been receiving child support from her. There was a arrearage for $40,000.
Oh my God!
In the state of Georgia, said that I owed them $40,000, and here I was receiving child support from her. You know, like the system is by hook or crook, man. All they want to do is get what they can get out of you. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. It's a man-hating system. And you know what? I can tell you, man, a lot of it is our own fault. Because when they open it, when the session opens up, when the legislative session opened up in each state, there are no men there to lobby these individuals for on our behalf to counteract these women. We're not there. We're not present. You know what I'm saying? You got to play to win.
This is bullshit, man. And salute the Queen. She said that is the exact reason why I didn't put my ex-husband on child support, because he really couldn't afford to pay what the court said I was entitled to. Now you see, salute to you. And there are women that think like that because they know what it means. But these new, like, there's a lot of women that not even new. There's a lot of women that they take a failed relationship personal. You know, and even if the dude could have dogged you out and slept with someone close to you, whatever, it's called child support. It means it's for the child, which means you're supposed to take your ass to work. You're not supposed to live off of it. And it's for the child. Forget the child has nothing to do with what you went through with that dude because you chose him, number one. And number two, if he can't make the payments and gets locked up, how's that benefiting the child? So as what the brother Terrence is saying is that this system has been rigged. And what I'm also saying is that these sisters have made it so that the sisters can fix it, but they choose not to. I want to play something else to you. I'm gonna play something that Dennis Sperling said to one of the sisters that called into his show. And when she was talking about, it was talking about the passport bros. Now, all of these things that I brought up since 1965, because I want to give you a history about how we got here. 1965, sexual liberation, the destruction of the black household. They've rotted us from the inside out. Black women chose Uncle Sam over their black kings in the house. All right. And we have all this chaos, and then the system is rigged. We all know this. And this sister got on Dennis Sperling's live. And when you got brothers hauling ass out the country, and you're right, Queen, the best revenge is cleaning yourself up. I'm sure if somebody in this chat, if not all of you, have ran into an ex when you were shining. Maybe you lost a little weight. Maybe you gained some weight in the right places. Maybe they saw you driving a good car. Maybe they saw you coming out of school with your degree. But it's 5 or 6 years down the road, they done gained weight and had a kid out of wedlock. And I know that's happened to me. I ran into a chick in the mall right up here by where I live. And she's calling my name. And I'm like, who's that? And I'm looking, I walked up to her. I didn't even know who the hell that was. This was years ago. And when she said who she was, I was like, ew. I'm like, oh, shoot. What the hell happened to her? And like, she used to have a nice little tush on her, but she got so fat, her back swallowed her ass. And I said, oh man, what happened? And then she had like a bandana on, and I'm like, oh. And she was pushing the carriage and had one little booger eater by the hand who had the hand of another booger eater. And all three of them looked like the dude that she was so infatuated with in high school. And I knew the dude, and he is doing life in prison. But before he left, he knocked her up not one, not two, but 3 times, and she kept all the babies. And they all were standing out there in the mall looking like him. And we're talking and talking and talking. But you see, I wasn't good enough for her because you know why? She told me
square.
I wasn't the word back then, I wasn't rugged enough. I wasn't a street dude. See, I looked the part, I knew the lingo, but I wasn't out on the block like that because I knew what came with that. Getting harassed by police officers, getting into fights.
Story, you know what I'm saying?
I wasn't like that. I looked the part, but I knew when to just fade off because I didn't play with the law like that. I didn't do that.
Yeah,
I got through New York.
I was called corny. And they told me
I was called corny. They're like, oh yeah, you play sports and all, but you're not rugged. You're not out here. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not out here? What do you mean?
You're not
exactly?
like that.
I'm not like out here. I'm not out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't get down like that. That's the missus. Hey, missus. I'm like, I'm not out there on the block like that. That's what you want. You know what comes with that? Once some of my boys went to go do the on the block thing, I said, all right, I'll catch y'all later. And a lot of them not all of them, but a lot of them got in trouble. So that was a story of my life. So now she's standing there talking to me. Yeah, exactly. Phenomenal Mexican. Now MC Light song. She had to get a roughneck. And she got it because this nigga sold drugs. When we got out of high school, he was selling bigger drugs. And the bigger drugs he sold, he got big time because he got locked up. I don't know exactly what for, but couple of dudes I know went to the hearing because these are open hearings. You can actually go. And they said I heard something. They threw the book at him. He got life.
He got the Giuliani rules.
What was it? 95. It was after David Jenkins. I think he got that Giuliani-ish. And they threw the book all the way at him. It was ridiculous. And he ain't never coming out. He got labeled with bodies and a dirty gun. It was crazy. But now she's outside with 3 kids just like him. She light skinned. All those kids is black as hell like him. And then we're talking. And now I just bought a fresh pair of Air Force Ones I was going to a party that night, and I was looking fresh. You know how long ago this was? I had an S curl back then with the shape up.
Oh, you was ready for the world.
I was ready for the world. I had the cool S curl with the shape up. I had a part going this way. I was looking crispy. I just left the gym. I'm more like tense. I was about 70 pounds heavier back then. I was looking like a lineman, and I was looking fresh. And here she come,
ready for the world, and Kwame.
You know what I'm saying? Hell yeah! And I'm like, who? I'm like, whoa! And I'm like, oh shit! And I'm saying to myself, yo, what happened to her?
Yeah, he said 470s.
I'm done.
470s and shit.
I was like, chill. And she's talking now. I'm in the rush. I got a fresh pair of kicks in my bag. I had on a white t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? My chest was all up to here, and I was feeling good. And then she stopped me. Now she want to have a conversation. It was like 90 degrees outside that day, and I'm cooking.
Man, and I'm 90 degrees in New York City. It's
a different 90 degrees
all that
out
concrete.
There. Yeah,
all that
man.
concrete, man. That's something
I'm
different.
looking around. I'm like, yeah, man. I said, yo, listen, man. I'm about to go now. Before, back in high school, I would break my neck to talk to her, but she wasn't into me. So now we talking, and I said, listen, I gotta go. And she said, all right, well, take down my number. So I took the number, right? No, we exchanged numbers. Right?
Threw that shit in the trash around the corner.
And yeah, I never called her. That was a Friday. Saturday night, she calling me with 3 kids. And now she want to talk on the phone. And again, I'm about to go out work at a club that night.
Right.
And now she called me, want to talk. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to head out. Where you going? I say, I'm about to go work at this club. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to make like 300 tonight. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And she was like, yeah, well, call me when you get back. I said, I'm not getting back till like 4 a.m. I'll be up with 3 kids. You'll be up. What's going on with you?
Damn right, she'll be up with 3
kids. So I didn't call her, but when I came home, and I was still living at my mom's crib at the time, I came home, took a shower, laid in the bed. I grabbed the remote, started to turn channel. My phone ringing. I'm like, what is it? And it's her. I'm like, oh, you was not playing. So, I said, let me shoot the ish with her to see what happens, before I go to sleep. I'm trying to see what's good with her. Then she hits me with the, why we never got together? Huh? Oh, you forgot? In the lunchroom? I like you like a brother. You don't remember that? Nah, I don't remember that. Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Ladies, you tell a brother that, we never forget. In fact,
them kids expensive. That's why.
If you still look decent when you change your mind years later, or we'll do you something dirty. We'll do you something because we're gonna take it out on you. But this was not worth it. She went from being built like a number 8 to a freaking pear. She was built like a pear, and it was done. And I said, man, you know what? She got 3 of this dude's CET and never coming out. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad deal. Stepfather. Now you want the meanest penis? You can't have it. All right. So I say, nah, I'm good. I'm seeing someone or whatever. And I just stopped calling her. And I eventually stopped taking her phone calls. And you want to know what's sad? You want to know what's real sad? I just found out like 3 years ago, she passed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She had a what you call it? An aneurysm.
What's your
COVID? Aneurysm. It wasn't COVID.
No.
Did she do? Oh, I don't know. I know she smoked a lot of weed. And that was another thing. We stand out there at 90 degrees outside. She wasn't smoking, but I smelt it. That's a turnoff to me.
Yeah.
And she, I talked her up to one of my boys, and he's like, "Oh, you ain't hear about her?" I said, "Nah." He said, "You don't follow her on Facebook?" I said, "I ain't been on Facebook in a few years. What happened?" He's like, "Oh, she died." I was like, "Oh man, that's crazy." Her kids are grown now. Because when I ran into her in the mall, that was in the 90s. Her kids are all grown now. And I hustled through my man's Facebook, and I saw the RIPs, and her sons all grew up to look just like daddy that's in prison, never coming out. All of them look like him. So it's like, whatever, man. Yeah, Queen Andrews is serious, man.
But see, back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when everybody was hustling and whatnot. Now, see, when I would say, why you mess with so and so or whatever, as soon as you pop pregnant, he gonna get popped. then I was wrong. But it always happened. As soon as the girl would find out she pregnant, you know what I'm saying, the DTs, you know what I'm saying, the jump out boys would get old boy, and then he getting 7-8 years, and then it happened like clockwork. It was what I'm saying, like down here where I'm from, there was a whole bunch of girls that was pregnant, and the dude got 7-8 years. Like clockwork. There was a whole bunch of girls that that was pregnant, and the dude had time. Like there was a lot of babies being born, and the fathers would was not there to cut the umbilical cord. And the majority, and like a lot of them, well, damn near everyone that I said, yo, you keep messing with him, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It all came true. Every last one of them I said, it all came true. And then when it happened, and then when they see me like in the store or something like that, they look at me and roll their eyes. What you mad at me for? I told you it was going to happen. Now he locked up, you pregnant.
And we're sharing these stories to say, brothers, child support system is not in our favor. The system isn't in our favor at all. It's not in our favor at all, man. I want to play with the brother Dennis Sperling because he's been cooking lately. I'm not trying to like jack his material or nothing like that. But I believe this conversation he had with this woman was very important. Let me play this for y'all.
You came to my page to tell me that I need to tell these men that they need to come to the table with a group of women who have the highest rate of abortion, who have an increasing incarceration rate, who have the highest rate of divorce, who have the highest rate of STDs, the highest out-of-wedlock birth rate, who have known around the world for being strong, independent, and don't need a man, who have, for the past 55 years, used television, radio, mass media of all sorts, movies from The Color Purple to Stella's Got a Groove Back to tell the world that the black man is nothing. And you want me to tell these black men who trust me and love me and appreciate my opinion because I'm truthful, that, oh yeah, brother, now it's time to go back to the table because Ivy Johnson said so. That's what you want me to do?
Yeah. We're terrified because
but you want me to do that. You see how selfish that is? That's a fool that would go back to a situation like that when they have options. They need to come to the table with a group of women. Who have the highest rate of abortion.
Fair use. Did you hear everything he said? And then when he asked her, she said, yeah. Now, she wasn't trolling. I just think that she was taken off. She was like blown away because she didn't know that. But she's like, no, she want these guys to come back. And it's like, what are you talking about? Listen, as men, when we hear these women that say, look, I was abused by a man. Okay, what kind of abuse? He used to beat me up. And yes, I got a police report and he got locked up a few times. Don't we always say, yo, get out of that? Even if he's verbally abusive. Oh man, you ain't ish. You ain't never gonna be ish without me. 5 years of that, 6 years of that, 10 years of that. She finally gets the gonads to leave the relationship. Don't we always be like, yo, leave, right? So now here we have a situation where you got passport bros that don't want to deal with that. Everything that Uncle D just mentioned, they don't want to deal with that. I just played you the other thing with the women talking about, there's a abort black men, black babies, black male babies. There's a movement online. Yeah. If you're pregnant with a black boy, abort it. That's a movement. And you got Cynthia G. That's a movement.
That was started by white racists. They would donate money to Planned Parenthood, but they were saying they were saying that they only wanted their money to go towards aborting black babies.
And who took it over?
Black women.
Black women. So now when you have passport brothers who quietly just started doing their own thing, and the only reason why this blowing out of proportion is because a few of these black chicks stuck their nose in the business. They've been doing this for about 2 years already. And they weren't on their pedestal talking about, yo, we leaving, bye. No. A couple of chicks went over there, then jumped on TikTok. I watched the whole thing. This has been going on. It's only blown up over about last 7 months. I've been watching this thing. I'm like, this is going to get crazy. And what they didn't anticipate were the sisters from the other countries saying, yo, what are you talking about? We're not educated and we don't speak English. What are you talking about? Like they don't make cell phones over here. Like they don't have the internet over here.
A lot of those women have to speak multiple languages because, okay, like you go to Africa, you know, they just in Ghana or Nigeria alone, there could be in one city there could be 8 languages spoken in that one city, and in order for you to get by daily life, you need to be able to speak all 8 of those languages. You know what I'm saying? Like English and like several different other tribal languages and Arabic. You can't, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, absolutely. Now, let me play this.
Every 3 years in this country, black or white, ends in a divorce in 18 months. Now, you see, it used to be if you got divorced, something was wrong with you. But when you have a stat this high, something must be going on in society. I now want to explain what that is. When America believed in agriculture, America believed in extended family. When America believed in the factory, industrialism, America believed in the nuclear family. But now that America believes in the computer, now America believes in a single parent family. Make sure you see my analysis. When the economy changed, the family structure changed. There was more than love in these relationships. There was some money involved here. Our grandparents worked the fields together, had economic reason to stay together, and so they did. In a factory, man works in a factory, woman takes care of children. Economic reason again to stay together. But in this new economy, where you now have women working just as much, if not more than men, you now hear women telling men, I don't need you, got my own job. Do what I want to do when I want to do it. And we are now doing it very well and by ourselves. You know the
See that? You see that?
That's poisonous.
You see that? And this brother did this in the 80s. Now,
And
technology has gotten better. The technology has gotten better since then. And I got to tell you, man, this is not good, man. There have been more than 19 million Black American deaths since the Roe versus Wade decision in 1973. Abortion has taken more Black American lives than every other cause of death combined since 1973. The abortion rate for Black women is almost 4 times that of white women. 1,876 Black babies are aborted every day in the United States. This is before Roe versus Wade. 94.9% of Black women are having abortions are not married.
Yeah,
Look it up.
The highest abortion kills more Black kids than so-called quote unquote, which is a false narrative, gun violence kills more black people than police violence, cancer, HIV, anything you can think of. Abortion kills more Black people before we even enter, before you even breathe air. You are killed. You are snuffed out in the womb, and you got people running here thinking that is okay. That is not okay. That is not okay. That is murder.
I gotta show y'all this. I gotta show because I just found what I was looking for. I gotta show y'all this. Oops, I done logged out. My bad. I'm gonna log back in.
Where Mrs. Donaire go?
I don't know. They in Vegas.
I was looking for those clapbacks.
Oh yeah. Well, Rachel was killing them.
Yeah, I was
killing them. Let me show y'all this. So all of this is relevant. Black men in the child support system. There is no system that we're safe in, especially the child support system. But let me show y'all this. This is what we coming back to.
Daddy ain't shit, clap your hands. If your daddy ain't shit, clap your hands. Yeah. If your daddy ain't shit, clap your hands.
I just seen this earlier today, and I scrolled past it.
You see what I'm saying, y'all? See what I'm saying?
If your daddy ain't shit, clap your hands. What kind of shit is that?
Yeah.
And you got the child in the video.
Right. Now watch this, y'all. Now I'm gonna play this because listen, when I say 80% of our sisters are overweight, and they're talking about, you know, these Jamaica trips. Here you go.
You ain't washing that,
bro.
You ain't washing all that,
bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. These brothers supposed to be now. Look, if you can find a Filipina that big, let me know, please. That big, walking around with a thong. There's no shame with us anymore. But guess what? She'll go down there. They're down there in the island, wherever they at, and somebody gonna beat.
That was in South Africa, actually.
Oh yeah, somebody gonna beat for that green card. Now here's the thing. Let me play this for you. This the clip I was talking about. Married. They're getting married. You understand?
Pay attention to the passport bros. Like, they're getting women from like the DR, Colombia, the Philippines, Thailand. Like women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education, women that need them, women that.
Well, that could be true, and the truth hurts, doesn't it? After all the plastic surgeries you had, you went to university and in debt, beautifying yourselves with expensive products. Your man in there still wants to marry those women who are, according to you, are poor, uneducated, speak little English language. It's insulting, isn't it? You are so full of yourself, entitled, proud, and the universe humbled you by those women who knows to have nothing but happy and grateful in simple things. No amount of hair extensions, thick makeups, sophisticated nails could overtake that. Filipinos speak little English language? Hello, that's our second language, and we can speak other many dialects. You're poor in history.
Man, you know, I had somebody tell me that in a lot of these places, like in DR, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, a lot of the resort places, I don't know how true it is, but somebody told me that the people that they dread the most to come and visit as tourists are African Americans. Because come down there and don't know how to act, and come down there and just be doing the most. Be no, I want my stuff this way. I want that. It was like be the biggest Karens and stuff like that, and just and it be the sisters. So I mean, now my wife and I went to DR. Now I'll be honest. I was an idiot. I wore military headgear because I was just used to wearing my headgear. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it just drew attention. I didn't act no type of way. The hat just drew attention. But I hear that a lot from people. They say that it's they dread African Americans coming to those places as tourists. And I've heard people say the same thing about about going to West Africa, like in Ghana and stuff like that. That they dread African Americans coming there. I saw a video of a African man saying, "We don't need African Americans coming here. They are not our people. I don't like the way they act." Which is sad, because I remember I had a conversation with the ambassador of Togo and Benin, and I told him, I said, the African countries should do the same thing like America did with Germany and stuff. Bring in the best and the brightest African Americans, like the best engineers, the best Army officers, and Marines or whatever, and offer them top salaries and land and stuff like that to build up Africa and repopulate Africa. You should do the same thing the United States did with Germany. But that's just my opinion.
I could dig it. What you're looking at here is a bunch of women in the airport acting niggardly. And salute Philip D. Hell yeah. This is us. This is what we do. They're acting very niggardly, and
yeah, exactly what I just said, man. It's,
I wasn't joking, man. When
fighting in the airport.
I've been in the airport, and it's like I know who's gonna hop on Spirit Airlines and who's going on a goddamn discount, because the shit I've seen on these waiting, going to Miami, going to Jamaica, going to one of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Fly Delta.
Yeah, man. It looked like a fucking circus, man.
You better fly circus. Delta. That's what I'm gonna say. If you're gonna fly Delta.
And these are our queens. These are our queens. We losing out here, man. And I wanted to make the community better. Now this is about. I got the video where the sister, the teacher that fought the damn student, where the student was fighting her and she fell down and broke her leg. The other teacher that broke it up fucked around and got fired. You understand? I mean, this is a train wreck, and look, man.
See, this is why I said this 10 years ago, and I'm gonna keep saying it. All these out of work combat veterans, they need to put them in the schools for security. You know what I'm saying? Put them at the doors. They are not allowed to interact with the students. Only thing they are there to do is guard the door. And put them in full battle rattle. They're there to guard the door. That the teachers do their job. And the rest of that stuff, man. If there's a fight to be broke up, let them break the fights up or whatnot. But these teachers nowadays, man, I don't know, man. They not like
that. Wouldn't have been me on the floor. I'll tell you that, because I'd have started flinging that little bitch around. I ain't even gonna hold you on that. Shorty I've never seen nothing like that.
Yeah,
I've never seen, man. The teachers that I came up with, they will bust your ass. I'm dead serious.
That's what I'm saying. These teachers is not the ones we had.
Yeah, I saw this black teacher. This was years ago when I was on Facebook. This little kid tried to shoulder bump him, and the street came all out of him. He grabbed him by his neck and he started flinging him around with one fucking hand. And the kid realized that, yo, I'm a kid. And he had him on the floor by the neck. He's like, what the fuck you talking to, little nigga? You're just a little kid, nigga. And of course he got fired. But yo, sometimes these kids will put you there. Should have, the other skinny kid with the nerdy looking whatever teacher. Yo, get out my face, bro. Get out my face, bro. And the grown man started kicking his ass. You know what I'm saying? Man, look, I'm willing to bet that's a single parent household ran by the mother. Now I had this cartoon up here, this little thing here, James Doon, salute. Toxic mother has more influence on a child's life than an absent father. Stay woke, ladies. Your kids are watching you. I can't tell you how many women that I've seen, especially the bitch that sat up there on Fox News to talk negative about the passport bros. She had everything. She had everything to say, but
she don't
meanwhile,
give a
she got her OnlyFans. She a single mother, had a 9-year-old boy, and she had her OnlyFans. What did she have to talk about anything for?
Yeah, but here's the thing, Drew. Here's a sad reality. She and the rest of them don't give a fuck. To her, she's validated. She's like, I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. That's what she's gonna say.
Yeah, this is what we living in. Lizzo, go ahead, girl. Body positivity, girl. Rick Ross was around on stage with his shirt off. Oh my God, nigga, put your shirt on.
Yeah,
this is where we at.
I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck. This is my life. I don't give a fuck. No goddamn accountability for nothing. No personal accountability.
Thing. And it's okay. So to bring the conversation full circle, black men in the child support system, listen, the whole system's been broke. It's been broken for us. The child support system, fellas, be careful what you see. Because when you lay down with a chick that she's on a drought, let me tell you something. You'll knock her up and she'll be like, you know what? I'm almost 40. I'll go ahead and keep the kid. And that's what it's going to be. Be careful what you see, brothers, man. The system's broken. The child support system doesn't work. It hasn't worked. 1965, remember the article I just read to y'all at the beginning of the show. And I go back and see I didn't write that article. It went back to right to 1965, didn't it? And through decades of this bullshit, these women had what, 56 years? 55, 54, 55, 56 years? And now we're here. Nothing works for us. The only thing you have left to do, if you want to search around in the States, maybe you'll be blessed and find a good one. But you see what brothers is doing. They're leaving the country and getting people that appreciate them. And don't be shamed for doing that. Remember, they started this. They fired the first missile. I would like for brothers to stay and marry black women. I would like for that. But you can go out of this country and find a black woman. You can still keep the black seed going, but you're not restricted here. If you have no criminal record, you can get a passport, get out of here. Because look what's the black men in the child support system. I didn't even read the other article. You can read it on your own time. You can Google it. Man, I'm going to get out of here. I got to get up in the morning and be back here. Yo, Terrence, man, this was dope, man, bro. Last words, bro.
Hey, look, for those of us who actually have good black women, I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these women out here are actually a lot of these black women are not black women. They are shadows of black women. They've been influenced by that progressive women's liberation type thing where they feel like they don't need nobody, they don't need this, they don't need that, and they on that they actually on this is the bullshit generation. Mm-hmm. That, you know what I'm saying, that ad, you know what I'm saying, all that mess of whatever. This is a generation that you want to protect your kids from. You want to protect your sons from, you want to protect your daughters from. This is a generation where you want to save your family from. And just, you know, stay vigilant, stay prayerful, and keep your kids away from this. I mean, this is a time for you to turn your TV off and your radio off.
Mm-hmm. Word up, bro. Man, salute to you, man. You know you got to open an invite whenever you want it, bro.
All right,
no doubt, brother. And salute to everybody in the Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. You know, we at what, $7.99, $800, whatever. We'll be at 1,000 by spring, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm starting to love this show more than my morning show, because boxing is completely one out its welcome for me. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I talk it, you know, and you know, we'll get something sooner or later. But you know, it is what it is. So you already know what time it is. Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. I'll be back Wednesday. And we're gonna cook, man. Much love and appreciation to all of you. And I'll see y'all in the AM. Peace.